In the US, people earn money in different ways, but for tax purposes, there are two main types of income: W-2 and 1099. Hello everyone, my name is Jackie and I make videos related to immigration process, most especially to the K1 visa. I am a K1 visa holder when I enter here in America. And a full disclosure, I am not an immigration attorney and I do not provide legal advice. I highly recommend to check the USCIS.gov website. That is where you can get all the right information, not in Google, just rely only on the USCIS website. If you are applying for a K1 visa, you probably already heard about the W-2 and 1099. So these are the income requirements that are most commonly mentioned when applying for a K1 visa. And if you are currently living overseas or outside of the United States, you're probably wondering, what is W-2? What is 1099? In today's video, pag-uusapan natin ano yung kailangan natin when applying for a K1 visa as a proof of income requirement. So, I will speak Tagalog, even though, disclaimer, I am not really fluent sa pagsasalita ng Tagalog because I am from Negros Occidental and I am speaking Hiligay noon. So, dito lang talaga ako natutong magsalita ng Tagalog pagdating ko dito sa Amerika. So, please bear with me if yung Tagalog ko is may halong English kasi nga hindi talaga ako fluent magsalita ng Tagalog. But I will try my best na i-explain sa inyo yung kaibahan ng W-2 at saka 1099. Kasi marami sa inyo, and including me, bago ako nakapunta dito sa Amerika, hindi ko naman talaga alam kung ano yung W-2, ano yung 1099. So, since I have been working here for 7 years, and my work is somehow related sa 1099 at W-2 kasi I am working in a financial company, and lagi ko siyang nakikita talaga kung ano yung form na W-2 at saka 1099 kasi calculating income for our clients. So, medyo marami akong kaalaman tungkol sa ganyang requirement. Alright, since our channel name is Simplified Visa, I'll make sure all the time that when I explain regarding K1 visa or immigration process that I'm using a simple terms. So let's start with IRS. Ano nga ba yung IRS? IRS stands for Internal Revenue Service. Yan yung tawag dito kung saan ka nagbabayad ng taxes dito sa Amerika. So, IRS is katulad ng BIR natin doon sa Pilipinas. Okay? So, IRS dito sa Amerika and BIR naman doon sa atin sa Pilipinas. Okay? If yung petitioner ninyo is nakakatanggap ng W-2, ibig sabihin is yung petitioner ninyo ay nagtatrabaho sa company. So, yung company is nagdideduct ng taxes, yung company is nagbabawas ng taxes sa income ng petitioner ninyo bago pa niya natanggap yung kanyang paycheck. So, makikita nyo na merong tax deduction sa paycheck ni petitioner. And that means that they will be receiving W-2. Normally, yung W-2 is binibigay siya ng company sa inyo through mail. And that's at the beginning of every year. So, it's either January or February. Yun yung mga times na yung company is magsisend sa inyo ng W-2. So, ano yung mga example na trabaho na nakakatanggap ng W-2? So, for example, nagtatrabaho yung petitioner nyo sa supermarket, sa bank, mga office jobs, or any kind of work na nagtatrabaho sa isang kumpanya. Yung 1099 naman is for self-employed or contract worker. So, example ng mga petitioner na nakaka-receive ng 1099 is yung mga independent worker, meaning wala silang fixed na employer. So, sila yung nagpo-provide ng service sa mga client nila. Example na trabaho is yung freelance graphic designer, Uber driver, or online seller. Yun yung mga type na jobs na nakakatanggap ng 1099. So, ibig sabihin, yung income nila is buo nilang natatanggap, walang deduction ng mga taxes kasi you are the one who's going to file for your taxes by the end of the year. Okay, so bali this year, it's February of 2025, bali yung matatanggap ng petitioner sa kanilang employer is yung W-2 for 2024. Okay, kasi yung 2025 matatanggap nila by the next year, which is 2026. Okay, so ano yung mga information na nandoon sa W-2? Okay, nakalagay doon ang pangalan ng company, yung pangalan ng employee, yung social security, yung income, at saka yung social security and Medicare income. Minsan magkaiba yung social security income, Medicare income, and yung annual income ninyo. So, sa company ko, kinukuha namin yung pinakamataas na income. So, for example, hindi pareho yung social security income sa Medicare income at saka sa annual income. So, ang kinukuha namin is yung pinakamataas na income. Sa 1099 naman, yung same pa rin siya. So, bali yung 1099 for this year is yung 2024 na matatanggap sa company. Makikita nyo pa rin yung name ng company. For example, if you're an online seller like me, so for example, nagbibenta ako sa Mercari, nakalagay dyan is yung business name ng Mercari, yung name ko, and then yung income. So, gaano ba talaga ka-importante yung W-2 at saka 1099 sa pag-a-apply ng K-1 visa? Ito kasi yung mga proof or documents na magpapatunay na kung magkano yung income na nakukuha ng petitioner ninyo every year. So, for example, if your petitioner is getting W-2, medyo mas mabilis siyang i-process kasi yung company mismo ang nagbibigay ng official document na nagpapatunay na nagtatrabaho ka sa kanila, ito yung income mo, at saka fix yung income. And sa self-employed naman, medyo mahirap siya kasi yung self-employed or individual contractor, iba-iba yung income mo, hindi siya fixed every month. So, merong minsan na marami kang mabenta, meron minsan na konti. So, if your petitioner is self-employed or individual contractor, ibig sabihin maraming documents na kailangan i-collect ng USCIS. For example, doon is yung mga 3 months of bank statement. Kasi pag individual contractor ka, hindi stable yung income mo. So, paiba-iba siya every month. So, pag-uusapan din natin yung other form of income, which is the, for example, if your petitioner is already retired. But I'll talk more about that on my next video. Okay, so kasi yung video na to, gusto kong i-explain lang mismo yung W-2 at saka 1099. But stick around kasi gagawa din ako ng video related sa income ng mga retired petitioner. Okay? Maraming income kasi yung nakukuha if you are retired. You can get your 401k retirement, you can get the VA retirement, you can get Social Security. So, iba-iba siya na income na pwedeng makuha ng retired na petitioner. So, pag-uusapan natin yan sa next video. Since we already identified the difference between W-2 and 1099, now, we will be talking about the supporting documents that you needed when filing for a K-1 visa. When filing for a K-1 visa, you don't need to provide a income requirements or affidavit of support on your initial process. So these documents are only required when your beneficiary is going to undergo the visa interview overseas. So, if mag-i-interview ka sa Manila US Embassy, ang experience ko po is hindi po siya tiningnan during my final visa interview. Pero, kasi merong stages sa umpisa, yung Filipina na officer doon sa US Embassy, kinuha niya or tiningnan niya yung mga documents ko, like for example, proof of relationship, yung affidavit of support, NBI clearance, birth certificate, passport, yung MRV slip. At saka tinanong din niya ako about kung kailan kami nag-meet ng fiancé ko, and anong website yung ginamit namin when we met online, mga ganyan. Yung mga interview niya sa akin, hindi naman siya super mahirap kasi basic lang talaga yung tinanong niya sa akin, and then chinek niya yung mga documents ko. And then, sabi niya, sige, prepare mo yan kasi baka tingnan mamaya during your final interview. Pero, sa experience ko, hindi talaga siya tiningnan ng officer. Okay? So, meron na mga applicants ang nag-share sa Facebook group ko na kinuha or tiningnan talaga yung affidavit of support nila or yung mga income requirements nila. Okay? So, mas mabuti talaga kahit na ang daming applicants ang nagsasabi na hindi hinanap sa kanila yung affidavit of support or income requirements, I still suggest na you need to be ready. Kailangan meron ka nun during your visa interview kasi what if wala ka nun at saka hinanap? So magkakaroon ka ng 221G. So ang 221G, ibig sabihin, madidelay yung process mo sa pagkuha ng visa kasi i-required pa nila na mag-submit ka ng documents. So, I highly recommend na you need to be ready and prepared during your visa interview, okay? So, make sure na meron ka nito when you are going to your visa interview. So, here are the supporting documents that you needed to provide together with your affidavit of support, which is the I-134. Yung affidavit of support, napakaraming form po siya. Iba yung affidavit of support when you're applying for adjustment of status. Iba din yung affidavit of support when you're applying for a K1 visa. Yung K1 visa na affidavit of support, yung kailanganin po natin na form is Form I-134. Yan po yung tamang form na kailangan ninyong dalhin during your visa interview. Okay? If your petitioner is going to support the beneficiary or you as a fiancé, then ito yung kailangan na i-provide ni petitioner. So first is he needs to complete a Form I-134 na affidavit of support na kakailanganin for the K1 fiancé visa. Kailangan din ng petitioner na mag-provide ng statement from an officer of the bank or the financial institution with deposits, identifying the following details regarding the account. A, date account opened. B, total amount deposited for the past year. And C, the present balance. It doesn't need to have a huge amount in your bank account right now, okay? Because as long as your petitioner income meet the 100% of the federal income requirement for the K1 visa, so if you're applying for a K1 visa, ang required lang na income na i-meet ninyo is yung 100% na poverty guideline for the income requirement. So, ang number 2 is yung statement from your employer, like tinatawag siya na employment letter, na nakalagay doon yung date and nature of employment, yung salary paid, whether the position is temporary or permanent. Yung petitioner kailangan din mag-submit ng copy of the last U.S. federal income tax return or also known tax transcript. So, kailangan niyang mag-provide ng tax transcript. Meron website kung saan pwedeng mag-obtain ng tax transcript. Okay? Yun yung kailanganin to prove that your petitioner has a sufficient income. And then, for example, yung petitioner ninyo hindi nagtrabaho last year or nagsimula lang yung petitioner magtrabaho like for example ng September of last year. So, ibig sabihin, pag naka-receive siya ng W-2, hindi nag-reflect yung buong income niya for the whole year. So, ang mag-reflect lang sa W-2 is yung income niya for September, October, November, and December. So, hindi siya magkasya sa income requirement ng USCIS. So, ang supporting documents na kailanganin lang na i-provide ni petitioner is yung consecutive copies of the pay stub. So, at least 1 month na pay stub ni petitioner ang kailanganin i-provide at saka yung last year na W-2. So, 2024 na W-2. And if your petitioner is retired, then yung Social Security Income or SSA 1099 ang kailangan i-provide ni petitioner. Okay, so I hope na explain ko ng maayos sa inyo kung ano yung kaibahan ng W2 at saka 1099. And if meron akong na-miss or if something na you think is not right, you can free to comment down below. I'm really willing to have a constructive criticism in my channel because I'm not perfect and I don't know everything. So I will make sure to answer your question as much as I can. If I cannot answer your question right away, please consider that I am working full-time. I'm also a mom and a wife. I'm also an online seller. So maraming maraming time na pinaglalaanan ko every single day, but I'll make sure to answer your question as much as I can. So I hope you consider liking this video, share this video to your friends that are sharing the same journey with you. And please check my previous videos. I made videos related to the K1 visa eligibility requirements. I made videos about how to fill out the form I-129F. Also made videos about the I-693, which is very common question that I receive from all of my followers na kailangan ba nila ng Form 693 when applying for adjustment of status if K1 visa holder sila. And then, meron din akong video about sa K2 visa kasi meron din akong K2. So, if you need anything, it's right in my channel, okay? Please like, subscribe, and share this video again. Thank you, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!